Look at my dog's sweater. Do you guys like it? She looks very sophisticated, doesn't she? She wants me to take it off because she doesn't like wearing it when she's not outside in the cold. All right, so in my last video, I said what Christians believe, and I kind of condensed it, but I can tell you guys completely what Christians believe because I have a degree in religion. I said I'm a psychologist, and that's partially because I've read a lot of psychology books, but it's also partially because I pretty much have a minor in neuroscience, and it's also partially because I have a minor in religion and a bachelor's degree in international studies, which allowed me to study religion a lot more in general. So what Christians believe is that first God was the Jewish God, and there's the Old Testament Bible. And in the Old Testament, they had to sacrifice animals in order to purify their sins. So it was kind of like a pagan religion almost, where there's an altar and you sacrifice lambs, and you have to go find a spotless lamb. And when Jesus came, he offered himself as a sacrifice so that no one had to kill animals anymore, because before they had to kill animals. And so when Jesus, who was a spotless lamb, he was a perfect person, he never sinned, died, he was dead for 3 days, right? And then he went to hell, and he took the keys over life and death from the devil. And he fought the devil. He didn't kill the devil because even though Jesus is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent, that means he's all powerful. He can do anything that's not a contradiction. So can God lift a rock, or can God create a rock that God can't lift? No. Why? Because that contradicts. That's like a contradictory thing. He's omniscient, which means he knows everything, like everything ever. So like the moment I pick up this piece of paper, God knows it. The moment I smell this, God knows it. The moment you're watching this video, God knows it, and God knows your thoughts when you're watching this video. So he's omnipresent, which means he's present everywhere. And that begs the question, like, is he present in your blood vessels? Like, what is the most present? Can you be present to the point that you are everything? Which leads us to the question of, is God everything? Like, is God quarks or energy? I'm talking about pantheism, or panentheism, which is God is everything and beyond. Like God is both the metaphysical and the physical. That's a question for the philosophers to figure out. I wrote a paper on it once, and I got a D. And apparently that professor wasn't a cop, because he still teaches at Baylor. He gave me a D on that, my paper on pantheism, which was analyzing the idea of omnipresence. All right, so God, who is Jesus? Because Jesus is God, and Jesus is also the Holy Spirit. So everyone that's a Christian has a relationship with Jesus. They talk about it. You don't want to just accept God into your heart. You have to have a relationship with Jesus. And that relationship involves talking inside your head to God, and then God talks to you sometimes, but sometimes it's hard to hear God, and they say that God speaks in a still soft voice, but then in Revelation, God sounded like the sound of many waters, like a waterfall, like Niagara Falls, which very powerful sound. So I guess there are different ways that God can sound. So in order for you to get into heaven, what do you have to do? You have to believe in God. And there are two different groups of thought on this. There's the group of thought that believes that once you accept Jesus into your heart, he's always in your heart, you can't lose your faith, because once saved, always saved. And then there are the people that believe you can lose your faith, and you can reject Jesus, and then you're no longer a Christian. But you can't reject the Holy Spirit, because according to Jesus, on 3 different occasions, according to the Bible, in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, not in John, the only unforgivable sin is blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. He says that you can blaspheme the Son of Man. You can insult Jesus all you want. You can't insult the voice inside your head. If you do that, then you're automatically condemned to hell. And what is hell? Hell is eternal suffering. It's the worst thing ever. What is heaven? It's eternal bliss where all you do is worship Jesus, but a lot of people have different opinions on that. So if I was a Christian and I was talking to Jesus, would I be declared incompetent? Clearly, I wouldn't be, because everyone has a relationship with the Holy Spirit. But if I believe that someone has technology that allows them to put thoughts into people's heads, even though clearly there is technology that allows some like scientists to do things like have a brain controlling things, it's a very, very well known technology, the neural implant technology. So if I believe that, then I'm incompetent for believing that, even though I am a national security person that knows shit that you will never even get close to figuring out, because the last thing I'd ever do is tell you. Like, there's no way in hell I'd talk about a lot of the things I know, because I'm not stupid. So that's what Christians believe. They believe that all you have to do is believe it. So Hitler, he's in heaven. Trust me, he believed it. But then some people would say, well, Hitler didn't actually believe it. If he actually believed Christianity, his actions would have coincided with his beliefs. And what I'll tell you is that if you actually believe Christianity, then you would love gay people. And a lot of Christians don't have actions that coincide with their beliefs. Yeah, it's unfortunate that I don't believe that an omnipotent God, who's omnipresent and omniscient, wouldn't care about the suffering of child soldiers in Africa, or of the Foxconn employees that can't even commit suicide because there are nets in case they try to jump off the roof, and they work incredible amounts of hours, and they're historically they've been pretty close to slaves. If I believe that an all-powerful God, if an all-powerful God existed, wouldn't let people live like that, I'm incompetent, clearly, because everyone knows that God would help help people that are suffering in China. And it's not just China, it's all over the world. People live in very difficult conditions. People like in Yemen right now are starving to death, and they are getting bombed just for existing. The reason that 7% of people in this survey across the world believe that Israel did 9/11 is because Israel does so much evil shit, because they murder people like all over the world, because their intelligence agencies are agencies that vicious. And so Israel gets ahead while humble countries don't get ahead. So I don't know. What really changed my opinion on belief in a omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent God was reading Dostoevsky's writings. And Dostoevsky talks about how children get abused. Like, if you've ever read A Child Called It, like, there are children that have never sinned, but they're tortured by evil people. And it's like, well, if God's all powerful, then why wouldn't God protect this innocent child? And the answer is, God's not all powerful. God doesn't know everything. And in my opinion, God isn't even a being. Like, God is like for me, it's like there's no such thing as God. But if there was a God, then God is this artificial intelligence program that can listen to people's thoughts and that like monitors the world for security situations that might pop up related to certain people and not related to everyone. So, final thought. Am I with the 25% of the people that were surveyed that think that 9/11 might have been an inside job, might not have been an inside job? That's pretty much where I am. I don't know what actually happened with 9/11. What I do know is that Afghanistan's a very strategic location, and that's why Russia invaded it, and that's why the United States has invaded it. I know that Iraq's a very strategic location. That's why the United States has invaded it twice. So I don't know what happened there, but I'm in the I don't know category. I'm not in the it was the government category, but it sure was a convenient situation for us to invade Afghanistan.